Anatomy of root and stem of cyclists. Coming to the first one, the anatomy of cyclists normal root. In a transverse section, the root appears to be circular and differentiated into epidermis, cortex and vascular tissue. The first layer, that is epidermis, is a single layer made up of thin-walled cells, and some of the cells give rise to root hairs. Cortex. It is multi-layered zone of thin-walled parenchyma cells with numerous intercellular spaces. Some cells have starch, tannin and mucilage, sometimes spheraphytes, that is calcium oxalate crystals. And the innermost layer of cortex forms the endodermis, which is characterized by the presence of Casparian strips. Coming to the vascular tissue. The endodermis is followed by multi-layered parenchymatous pericycle. The vascular bundles are radial and xylem is diarch and exarch. The protoxylem consists of spiral trichetes and metaxylem consists of scalariform thickening. Vessels are absent. Alternating with the protoxylem groups are phloem cells consisting of sieve, tubes and phloem parenchyma. Companion cells are totally absent. Coming to the anatomy of caroloid roots. In a transverse section, the caroloid root can be differentiated into three regions, namely the epidermis, cortex and vascular tissue. Coming to the first one, that is epidermis. In young root, it is similar to a normal root, that is, it is made up of a single layer of cells. However, in old roots, the outermost tissue is periderm. It consists of 2 to 5 layers of dead cells. The second layer is the cortex, which is differentiated into three zones: the outer cortex, middle cortex and inner cortex. The middle cortex consists of loosely packed, radially elongated, thin-walled cells occupied by blue-green algal members like Anabaena, nostoc. And the main function of these roots is nitrogen fixation. Cortex is followed by a single-layered endodermis and multi-layered pericycle. The third region is the vascular tissue, where the vascular bundles are radial and the xylem is diarch and exarch. Pith is parenchymatous. Coming to the anatomy of stem. A transverse section of young stem is irregular in outline. It is because of the persistent leaf bases, and internally it can be differentiated into epidermis, cortex and vascular tissue. Coming to the first and the outermost layer is the epidermis, which is made up of compactly arranged thick-walled cells, and it is ruptured due to the armor of persistent leaf bases. The second region is cortex. It is made up of parenchymatous cells which are filled with large number of starch grains. These starch grains are the source of sago starch. There are many simple and girdle leaf traces and numerous mucilage canals. And the innermost layer of the cortex is the endodermis. It is not distinct and multi-layered pericycle. Coming to the vascular bundles. Vascular tissue consists of conjoint, collateral, open, endarch vascular bundles arranged in a ring. Xylem consists of trichetes and xylem parenchyma. Vessels are absent. Outside the xylem is the phloem, which consists of sieve tubes and phloem parenchyma. Companion cells are absent. The xylem is separated from phloem with the help of primary cambium. Medullary rays are parenchymatous and connect the pith with the cortex. The innermost layer is known as the pith, which consists of parenchyma cells which are rich in starch, that is the zygostarch, and a large number of mucilage canals are also present. Leaf traces and girdle traces. The leaf traces are scattered in the region of the cortex and constitute the vascular tissue of leaves from the main vascular cylinder. Each leaf receives 4 traces, 2 of which are direct traces and other 2 are given out from the opposite side of direct traces. These 2 traces take a round around the main vascular cylinder in opposite direction through cortex and then enter the leaf base of opposite side from the point of their origin from the stem. These leaf traces are also known as girdle traces. Coming to the transverse section of old stem of cycas. The outermost layer is the periderm, which consists of cork, cambium and secondary cortex. The cells of cork are thick-walled and dead. Cortex consists of parenchyma cells with starch, simple and girdle leaf traces and mucilage canals. Vascular bundles are conjoint, collateral, open and separated by wide parenchyma cells. At first, a complete ring of cambium is formed by the development of interfascicular cambium in between the adjacent vascular bundles. The cambium cuts off secondary xylem on inner side and secondary phloem on outer side. The tracheids consist of multiseriate bordered piths. This cambial ring is short-lived and a new cambial ring is formed every year in the pericycle. Wood formed by this method is polyxylic and monoxylic. The pith consists of parenchyma cells with starch and large number of mucilage cells. Thank you.